Now, I think it's a good game though. I recommend people to play it, but know this, you need to spend money eventually. Just know this. And if you can't, bravo. You are the top 0.1%. You don't know much about it, but once you saw the monetization was set up, you lost interest. Okay, let me tell you, if you play it hardcore, every single day, whenever you feel like you want to spend that few hours playing Lost Ark, and you can spend like the hours playing Lost Ark, you can play for a year without spending money. But that is if you play that game mainly, and you play that game hardcore, you can go 1 year without spending money. The moment you reach the 1 year mark is where your upgrade become very, very small, very, very minimal. We are talking about spending weeks just to get maybe a 1% DPS increase. Like BDO, you guys know BDO? BDO, you have to grind a lot just for that mini upgrade, right? Lost Ark will reach that point. And then at that point, you start to drop off because you feel like, fuck man, you need to spend weeks to just get maybe a 1% upgrade, right? You will start to drop off. And then when you start seeing that, okay, instead of 1% DPS upgrade every 3 weeks, now you reach the point that if you work hard, the next 2 weeks you will get 2%. But then because of daily restriction and account restriction, character restriction, you need to start spending money to remove the cap. You need to start spending money to expedite gaining the block resources to get that 2% upgrade. You will waste a lot of money. Eventually, the Lost Ark will eventually become like BDO. Top players in Korea, don't get it mistaken just because a Korea or a few Korea can do 100% free to play, okay? You guys in Korean, you guys have no fucking idea how much a Korea can play. Like I said earlier, if you play the game hardcore, an average player who play hardcore can keep themselves relevant and at the top of the curve for 1 year. A Korea can do that for 10 years, okay? You average Americans, you average Southeast Asian cannot do that more than half a year. A Korean can keep that up. A Korean can play that unconditionally. Don't get distracted. Don't suddenly play, say for example, oh, a single player game Elden Ring gonna come out. I'm gonna spend that 4 days, 1 month to play Elden Ring. You know what? After that 1 month, you ain't playing Lost Ark anymore. Korean players are built different. Just because a Korean can play the game at its maximum potential as a free-to-play doesn't mean that you can. Doesn't mean that the top 0.1% American can. A top 1% Korean can do that. A top 0.01 rest of the world can do that. That's the difference. Don't compare yourself to Korean. Don't give yourself that much credit. Is that 1% even necessary to do the content? Not really. Not really. Like PvP is equalized stats in that game, right? But if you were to do like, say, you know, they have like multiple difficulty in the dungeon, and then they got like time attack, and then things like that will yield you better weekly rewards. That's 0.1%. You will eventually hit a gate that you can't one-shot things. But there are try-hards that will go that far. It's okay, think about it like Mythic Plus dungeon, right? I mean, I'm not saying that they have Mythic Plus dungeon in that game. I'm just talking about like, think about it like Mythic Plus progression, right? You get all the gear, that super little upgrade every week that you don't really need, and then you can push like a better key. Basically, Lost Ark will become like that. Is it needed? No. But in that game, that is the end game. In games like Final Fantasy XIV, in games like WoW, you get that 0.1 upgrade for nothing. But in Lost Ark, that 0.1% is how you can play the end game better. You can do more crazy end game. That is the end game. Now, if you're not interested in that, then sure, right? You can just play casually, right? But eventually, when you compare to other people, you start to see that everybody, because like I said, that is the true end game. Everybody can push more things that you can't. You start to feel like you are behind. That's where you need to spend money, and we are talking about spending a lot of money. Let me give you an example. In Russia version, at least, the monetization now, Russia is EU. EU is just really fucking expensive when they do monetization. European publisher always do crazy amount of monetization. Okay, let me give you an example. In Russia Lost Ark, in order for you to get an 8% chance to upgrade an item, which you can still do it as a free player. It's just that your weekly lockout as your main might not be enough. That's where you need to play an all to get that free currency to siphon it to your main to use. But if you don't want to spend that time grinding your daily, monthly, weekly, and you don't want to spend time grinding your all, then you need to spend say $30 for an 8% chance. Now, there are cheaper versions. You can also spend $10 to get a 2% chance. So there was a free-to-play player that I know. He didn't spend any money after 1 year, but he started to fall off, and then he started to realize that, fuck, I don't have the time to grind that much anymore. Let me try to buy it. But because he's also really, he's not like a whale. He didn't spend $30 for the 8% chance. So he spent $10 for the 2% chance. End up, he spent 30 attempts to get the upgrade. So that's $300. He spent $300 for a 1% DPS upgrade. Now that is the end game. If you don't plan to play that part, then that's fine. Hardest content and loss are equalized in gear, so it doesn't matter. There's no difference. By the way, someone who spends at the free-to-play player. Dude, Ichiro, you need to understand what a free-to-play player means, man. You are talking about a free-to-play player who play that much that you don't spend any money, okay? Those players can be free-to-play, yeah. But you need to spend... dude, I say this so many times, but I'm not sure whether my English is bad or you don't fucking understand what I'm talking about. If you play the game hardcore 8 hours a day and you play 5 alts, you can play a free-to-play player. Not everybody can play that much. An average player cannot play that much. That is why they need to spend money. And you can't tell those people you don't have to spend money. This game is free to play. No, those players can't play that much. An average player can only play 4 to 6 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that is still considered a lot. At some point, they need to start spending money. Now, if you can consistently play the game for 3 years, 2 years without spending money, and you play 8 hours a day and you play 5 hours, then you can be a free-to-play player. But you can't tell that to an average person and say you can play the game free-to-play. No, they can't. And you will spend money. And once you spend that $1, once that average player spend that $10, the game is not free to play anymore. Okay? Yeah. Dream OG, I am being super generous here. I'm speaking on my point of view what a casual player is. For me, if you play 4 to 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, you're casual. For me, at some point, I will need to start spending money. If I play casual. If I play Lost Ark 10 to 12 hours a day and I play 6 days a week, I don't have to spend money. For me, that would be free to play. Can you do that? If you can, the game is free to play for you. Can you do that? No, right? Then you can't say the game is free to play. But based on Google definition, it is free to play. But you can't use that. You cannot use that as like an excuse to say that the game is free to play to spread false information to the others. But by definition, it is. But it is not. How many times have we seen content creators come out to defend the game, come out to make an argument? Lost Ark is free to play if you can play this game X amount of hours and you spend a lot of time with all. But if you don't feel like spending the money, spending the time, you can actually have the option to spend money for pay for convenience to catch up. But technically speaking, the game is free to play. It is copium, yes. Our investment to be a free-to-play player is under... Yo, Missive, you know what? That's code of the day. What Missive just said there is code of the day. You want to be a free-to-play player, you need to put in that much amount of time that not many people can. Are you guys really that naive to think that the developer and this publisher, this Western publisher of Lost Ark, do you really think that they are that naive? That they are putting out a game so that everyone in the world can play the game for free? You think they are offering a free service to you, patch after patch, so that all of us have a warm light for mankind? Do you guys really think so? Why do you think they monetize the game? Because they know at some point one of you is gonna spend. And if 1 or 2 or 5 out of 10 of you don't spend, and if the other 10 of you spend, that doesn't mean that the game is free to play anymore. For you, it is. But in general, the game is not. I think you cannot, as a free to play 5 out of 10 player, you cannot tell the other 5 out of 10 people who pay money and say you shouldn't need to spend because this game is free. It's not how it works. Give it a month or two, people will find a way to justify they spend. Let me tell you, first step of copium. I did not intend to spend, and I still don't intend to spend, by the way. But you know, this game is free. But because an average game costs $60, I wouldn't mind spending $60 for this game because I feel like supporting the game. But trust me, I will not spend more than $60. Second step of copium. The bundle is really affordable. And you know, to be honest, when I play Final Fantasy XIV and when I play other games, I have to pay a subscription. I have to pay $12.99 every month. So every month when they put out a battle pass, or every month when they have a seasonal promotion, spending $12 a month, it's fine. But I still think I'm free to play, because if I play another game, I honestly would have spent the same. I did not spend more. Lost Ark is free. It is still free. I choose to spend $60 because I treat it as a game to support the developer, and now I'm spending $12 every month as a sub to support the developer. That is step 2 of copium. Step 3 of copium. I don't even know what to say anymore. Fuck this game, man. I'm in too deep, man. But I can't quit anymore, you know? So I just have to keep paying and playing. That is your 3 step of copium. That's gonna happen. Trust me. How do I know that? I play MMO for 20 years. I play every single type of MMO, as in how a developer make the game pay to play and make the game subscription based, and how the game is pay to win, and also the game being free to play. I play all type of games already. Let me tell you, that's what's gonna happen. 2 months. I give Lost Ark 2 months. Lost Ark is very smart. Lost Ark makes you... Okay, correction. Korean MMOs are very smart. Korean MMO makes you feel that you have full control, that you can do the game totally for free, but you just have to play a lot of weekly, which then retain you, keep you logging in every day, keep you invested in the game, so that by the time comes, when monetization comes in and where you feel like you need to spend, you will justify yourself to spend, because you already spent a lot of time playing the game anyway, every month, every day, and you're already grinding your weekly already. And if you don't want to spend, you will go into the part where you make alts, which is also good for them, Because now you are attached to the game. Now you are a hardcore player in the game. Now they retain you. You are their +1s already. At some point, you will start spending. At some point, the offer, the promotion is too good. And because you have played the game for years and months without spending, you will feel that it is okay to spend that few bucks. You will reach that. You will reach that stage. And then once you start, you cannot stop. Korean MMOs are very smart. Now, I think it's a good game though. I recommend people to play it. But know this, you need to spend money eventually. Just know this. And if you can't, bravo. You are the top 0.1%.